it's Nicole, the Crohnie mom, and today I wanted to give a little bit of background in my history with Crohn's and the different medications I've been on. So after high school, I went straight to college. I went away, it was about an hour and a half away from my home, and I did 2 years there. I was fine. My second to, so the second year I was there, I actually started losing some weight. Didn't really think of nothing drastic, but didn't think much of it. I also have had psoriasis since I was in 3rd grade, I think, pretty severe when I was younger, and as I got into high school, it kind of I wouldn't say it went in remission, but it definitely wasn't as bad. I used to have it on my face and over probably 75% of my body, and in high school I had maybe 25%, and I only know the percentages because I have done some research medications and I was on some research studies. And so the whole point of telling you that is because my second year I was doing those studies throughout college too, and the second year I was in college, so I was, let's see, 19, I was probably 19 or 20. I was doing a study and they said my lab work came back with some irregularities. Wow. So they wanted me to just do a checkup with my general family practitioner, and so being 19, and I was away at school, so it was an hour and a half away. So to make a doctor's appointment, I'd have to make sure I was home, and I just didn't want to do that. So I didn't. And because I thought, whatever, something screwed up with your test, I'm fine. You know, I wasn't feeling anything weird or strange or anything like that. So, looking back now though, losing weight, weird blood work. So anyway, so then I was home and I started having some GI stuff. I would have severe cramping. I had lots of diarrhea. I was nauseous. I had high fevers, all these fun stuff. So I went to my doctor and she said, well, you know, it could be IBS, and put me on, added some fiber into my diet. She did, to her credit, I will say, she did suggest a colonoscopy. She said, if you want to, you know, look into it further, we could do a colonoscopy. And at 20 years old, I was like, no, thank you. I don't want a tube going or, you know, a camera up my rear. No way. So I tried the suggestions. I used Lactaid for, you know, some things when I thought maybe it was a lactose intolerance. I added some fiber to my diet. I watched my diet a little bit more. I didn't go crazy or anything like that. And it continued, if not got worse. So finally, it was so bad that I said, yes, I need to do a colonoscopy. So I got in for the colonoscopy, and so your first set of, through my doctors, this is all my experience, it was done at the GI's office. So at the time, the GI that I go to did the mild sedation, not fully sedated, not propofol or anything like that. It was just, they gave you kind of a relaxing thing that in your IV. I don't know the real names or terms, sorry, not medical professional. So they gave me some of that to kind of relax me and make me a little loopy, but they should, you know, they said, no, it won't be any problem. Well, I felt it, and it hurt really bad. And they gave me more medication, and I apparently, supposedly, I don't remember it, but I was almost to the point of screaming, and I was crying. I remember crying, but the nurse said I was crying almost hysterically, and I was probably scaring other patients there. So they gave me more medication, and finally I was out. Yeah, I woke up in a recovery room, and I had the oxygen tube on my nose, and my then at the time boyfriend, but my husband now, was saying, you know, here, let's take that off. And I woke up and I was freaking out at him. No, I need the oxygen. I need oxygen. He held up the other end of the tube. I wasn't even, the tube wasn't even connected to anything. And he's like, honey, it's not plugged in. You're okay. But that just shows I was knocked out and I was out of it. But I do remember very, very distinctly the doctor poking his head through the curtain and going, you have Crohn's. That's how you're gonna, really? Thanks. Okay, so that's how I was diagnosed. That's how I found out I have Crohn's in the recovery room after a colonoscopy. So I did a follow-up clinic appointment with the GI, and they started me on Asacol, and I did some prednisone, and when that didn't work, I did mesalamine. I'm sorry, I'm butchering some of these names. I know I am. And I did that. That didn't work. Then I was put on Pentasa, another mesalamine, I believe, around, and it didn't work. And I was still struggling. And I understand GIs have to start you on the lower medications, but I was failing miserably on them, and I had horrible quality of life. I didn't even have a life. So eventually, I ended up in the ER. Yeah, Easter Sunday, my mom took me in. I was teeny tiny. I lost a ton of weight. I, couldn't function. I was constantly in the bathroom if I ate anything. So I was admitted to the ER. They did IV prednisone, then started me on pill prednisone. And after that, then I was put on Remicade. Remicade worked. I did awesome on it. I did 8 treatments or infusions, and I had a reaction. Yep. It wasn't full anaphylactic shock, but I was sitting there and I started to feel pressure on my shoulders and my throat tightening up. And so I told the nurse, and yeah. So my GI did then prescribe pre-meds. So I did Benadryl and Claritin, and tried it. And I didn't have another reaction, but I didn't see the same effects. I don't know if I built up the antibodies or my body just stopped responding to it. So I was switched to Humira, and I did awesome on Humira. I ended up getting pregnant, and I stayed on Humira. Oh, also at this time, I was also put on azathioprine, or Imuran. So I was also on and off that for a long time. So I did Humira up till 30 weeks of pregnancy. Then I stopped that. It's just recommendations between my OB and my GI. And looking back again, hindsight, should have went back to the GI right after I had given birth. But I didn't. So about 6 months later, I started getting my symptoms back. And so I went back. We tried Humira, but didn't work. So assuming I built up antibodies to that too. And so after Humira, I tried Cimzia. Didn't really do much for anything on, Cimzia didn't really, no. So then I believe it was at the time then that I ended up having my surgery. My surgery was emergency. It wasn't planned. I was having some really bad pains, went into the ER, and was told, you're having your colon removed. Yeah. So I didn't get to plan. I didn't get to, which, I don't know, I kind of liked. I think I didn't have time to think of all the what ifs. So after surgery, they said, because I have Crohn's, you could still get stuff, inflammation. So after surgery, I still had to be put on medication. Obviously, I have Crohn's. Crohn's can come anywhere in your digestive tract. So after surgery, I was put back on Cimzia. They, So what I was told from my GI is, even if you've built up previous antibodies, or I don't know, but even if you've used it previously, he's seen results going on it again after surgery, or, after a big body changing event. So I went back on Cimzia. No such luck. Didn't do anything. So at this time, Entyvio was available. So I did Entyvio and thought it was working, doing great, feeling okay. I was having no symptoms, but my scopes and my lab work showed differently. So after Entyvio failed, and where I currently am, I'm on Stelara. And I think Stelara is starting to work. Jury's still out. I was having a really bad flare these past few months and did like 3, maybe 4 rounds of prednisone. That's hence the round monkey cheeks, or, the moon face that I've got going on. But so I'm weaning off prednisone. I'm so close. I'm on 5 milligrams. I've never been down this low in this flare. So I'm fingers crossed that Stelara is kicking in and it is working. So that is where I currently am at in my medication journey with Crohn's. And yeah, I feel like, oh my gosh, I totally forgot. I did also try Tysabri. So right before my surgery, we'll go back to right after Cimzia failed, my doctor, was like, well, he is a research doctor also. So he really wanted me in one of his research groups that he was starting, and I was actually doing the washout period, and the study filled up before I could wash out, because you have to be 30 days medication free before you could do that particular study. And honestly, with most studies, there's a washout period. At least from my psoriasis study history, most studies, because they don't want it to be tainted by previous medications you've been on. So that group filled up, and I was kind of left out of options. So I did Tysabri. I only did 3 infusions of it. I wasn't too excited about it. I did test negative for the brain-causing lesion. It's not a steroid. Something in your blood that they check. And if you're positive, you cannot take Tysabri because it could cause a brain lesion. And if you're negative, you can have the medication and you're fine. So I tested negative, and they retested a couple times. So I tested negative. So still didn't make me super confident. Tysabri comes with a lot of warnings and side effects possible, and it just scared me. So as happy as I was to be done with that, the alternative was that I was in emergency surgery. So yeah, right now, currently, as of today, I am on Stelara and 5 milligrams of prednisone. I also take azathioprine, which is Imuran, and that's the Crohn's medication that I take. I've also done rounds of vitamin D, which I'm currently on. I take omeprazole for some acid reflux, or I believe I have GERD. I know it sounds really dumb that I don't even know what I have, but I was just noticing some acid reflux. And then when he did a scope, an upper endoscopy scope down my throat, he diagnosed me, or said I had GERD, so he put me on omeprazole, and that I'm on 20 milligrams, and it takes it away. I have no problems unless I forget some. 1 is okay. 2 nights in a row, I've left my medication at home, and when we've gone to the cabin, and a weekend, I will, Sunday morning, because I haven't taken it Friday, haven't taken Saturday, Sunday morning, Sunday, I will wake up with, or have some acid reflux, and it hurts. Yeah, it's painful. Other medications, so that's Tylenol as needed, and Pepto-Bismol as needed. I've used Gas-X as needed. Imodium sometimes, but not since my surgery. Imodium doesn't really do much for me. I tried to use it to slow my system down. I was a high output, not a high output, but just a watery output, and so I was trying to slow that down so I could retain some fluids. Otherwise, over-the-counter stuff, let's see, Tylenol PM sometimes, but that's, I think, most. That was just kind of a quick off the top of my head. I didn't write anything. I had it written down and then I lost it. Go figure, mom life, right? So let me know what medications you're on. If you have any specific questions about medications, or how I reacted to them, or my little further in-depth medication questions, let me know down below. And I will see you in the next one. Thanks, guys. Bye.